Anthony Joshua had some praising words to say about Daniel Dubious, despite the two having a heated argument previously.
You need to be at your absolute best to overcome that challenge.
Yeah, probably better than my absolute best. It's going to be a tough night's work, for sure.
Joshua claims that fighting Dubious is going to be tough and acknowledges his power. He stated, "It's going to be a tough night's work for sure. It's just Daniel Dubois. I said at the press conference table, it could have been anyone. Daniel worked hard enough to put himself there, so be it." Joshua went to see Daniel Dubious facing Filip Hrgovic a few months ago. Dubois wore Hrgovic down with his pressure, and it wasn't all that competitive after the 4th round. Hrgovic looked tired and beaten from the 5th round on, and it was obvious that Dubois was going to knock him out. Assessing that fight, Joshua said, "I went to the fight and watched, and as you say, Hrgovic was a boogeyman. People respected him. He put up a good fight, but it wasn't good enough. There were times in the fight where the tides were turning in Daniel's favor and were turning in Hrgovic's favor. I was thinking, this is a good fight. I could see where Daniel was starting to edge, and that was down to conditioning. He was able to keep breaking through brick wall after brick wall. After a while, Hrgovic wasn't able to manage through brick wall after brick wall. If it wasn't for the cuts, I felt Daniel would have gotten him out of there at some stage." On the other hand, Daniel Dubois said that he has to beat AJ no matter what and continue his winning streak. He said, "I need to beat AJ and the next 3 good opponents. I need to beat them all. I'm not overthinking anything. It's a fight and this is our profession. Get the tools sharpened and just flow. Of course, I've fought better opposition than Joshua, and it's good for me. It's good momentum and building toughness, showing I can go the distance and still have the power in the later rounds and go in there, dig it out, and have a dogfight. So it's good." Dubois' promoter, Frank Warren, is all too aware that anything can happen in the crucial days and hours before a major fight, but he believes that as the night draws closer, it will be Joshua who begins to feel the weight of expectation. He stated, "It's a cracking fight and it's got a great undercard. It's doing unbelievable business and it's an exciting fight. For me, the pressure's all on AJ. I don't think the pressure's on my man." Warren stated that AJ should come out swinging and use his right hand as it will set him up for the counterpunch. According to Warren, AJ and Dubious will both enter the ring aggressively because it is not how they play.
Right hands, because when he does throw 'em, he's there to be countered, and that's when he'll get in trouble.
Do you think they'll both be very aggressive early on?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
So you don't anticipate a chess match?
No, they've not got that mentality. And Joshua won't want to be on his back foot, that's for sure.
Okay.
Warren believes that Dubois' level of opposition and the self-belief that surviving a series of flush right hands from Hrgovic generated could be crucial to the outcome. He further added, "I look at it 2 ways. First of all, Wallin didn't want to be in there. Ngannou, Joshua smelled him out and did what he had to do, and he done it in style. He's not been in with any quality, and he hasn't taken what I would call a solid punch, that's definite. I want him to come out and throw those right hands at my man because that's where he is vulnerable. He gets countered easy." Warren says that Joshua will get on the back foot once he gets a good hit from Dubious. And I'll tell you something, that will be the telling point. Whoever gets clipped, how they react to it. Not to be knocked out, but the first solid punch that lands, how do they react to it? I think Joshua will go on the back foot if he gets caught, and if he goes on the back foot, that's my man's fight. Despite entering the fight on the back of a brilliant win over Filip Hrgovic, Dubois is widely seen as a significant underdog. Considering his losses to Joe Joyce and Alexander Usyk, it will not be a long night for Dubious, according to AJ's last opponent Otto Wallin. Wallin said if Dubious enters the fight aggressively, like he did against Filip Hrgovic in his previous bout, the fight won't end well for him. However, he also stated that Dubious will have a chance if he entered the game defensively.
I think that if Dubois comes out like he did in his last fight, got hit with a lot of shots from Hrgovic. If he does the same with Joshua, I think it's going to be an early night. I think that Joshua is going to win within the first 5 or 6 rounds, if that happens. But if Dubois comes out with a little better defense and can hit Joshua with a few good shots, maybe make him doubt himself, then I think it could turn into a good fight. But it all depends. If we all seen Joshua's power with Ngannou, so if he hits Dubois with those kind of shots and keeps hitting him, then it's going to be an early night. But I think that Dubois is a good fighter, so if he can come out and land a few shots himself, then it could turn into a good fight.
Although Joshua is slightly more experienced and has the pace and ability to dominate, Tyson Fury's trainer and uncle, Peter Fury, feels that both boxers are competent enough to compete against one another. He stated, "Very interesting one, they can both punch for sure. You'd have to go with Joshua because he has that experience and he's got that sharpness and the speed. He's mixed at that level as well, that very high level. Joshua can defeat anyone." According to heavyweight contender Jerry Forrest, Joshua, despite his many titles, is a humble man who is always willing to learn something new. According to him, Jerry is confident Joshua will win if he continues to improve in this manner.
I got my money on Joshua versus anybody. Besides myself, I believe Joshua can beat anybody. Listen, he's the truth. He wants to get better. He's very receptive. He listens. He's a good guy. Even when I come into the gym, I'm not a world champion. He had all the titles. He's listening to me in the sense of, let's take the advice, so he's a humble guy that actually wants to get better in the sport. So if he keeps progressing, man, this guy may be around until he's 40 years old.
Zhilie Zhang believes Dubois can get the job done. Zhang said, "I personally favor Daniel Dubois to pull this off because he is on the surge. He is hungry, he is young, and he has the fire in him. He had a beautiful knockout victory over Hrgovic last time, so I really have my faith in the underdog. We are literally 3 weeks away and I believe he will shock the world." WBC Bridgerweight world champion Laurence Okolie offered his perspective of the bout after sparring with both Joshua and Dubois. Okolie's insight, based on first-hand experience, highlights what may happen in the widely anticipated match. He said, "The outcome really hinges on AJ," Okolie remarked, appreciating the strengths of both fighters. "Dan, I have a lot of respect for him. We've trained together, and from an objective standpoint, he's someone you can't underestimate. He's got serious power, grit, and determination. But if AJ can maintain one thing, consistency, using his long, straight punches effectively, he should come out on top. Even if all the pros believe Joshua has more expertise, Daniel could easily defeat any heavyweight in the world right now." According to trainer Shane McGuigan, Daniel, in his opinion, possesses the quickness and agility necessary to win.
Daniel has always had that ability. When I was working with him, unbelievable ability, like great balance, great punch power, can throw any shot in the book. Most heavyweights can't really do that. They're stuck on like the jab and the right hand. He can throw uppercuts, hooks, he can throw them with speed. He lacked a little bit of intensity, lacked a lot of belief. But I feel like the last couple of fights have really brought that out of him. That confidence. He's still a young heavyweight, and he's got the ability to knock any heavyweight out.
In 2014, Durain Darch lost by TKO in the second round to AJ, and 3 years later, he met the same end against Dubois in the same round. Considering that he faced both, Dorian discussed his thoughts on the impending fight. He stated, "In all fairness to Dubois, since the Joyce fight, he's got a lot tougher. I think he more or less gave up in that fight, but Hrgovic caught him with loads of right hands and he kept fighting. But you can't take that many right hands against Joshua, he'll put you to sleep." He also compared the power of the two boxers, saying, "AJ's got one punch knockout power, and Dubois, when he hit me, I've seen him knock out other boys out. He was hitting me down, but they weren't concussive punches, they were just bowling me over. Whereas AJ hit me in the temple, I lost my sense. My legs were gone." Duke McKenzie believes Daniel Dubois will upset Anthony Joshua as they square off in the ring this month. McKenzie, who has won 3 world titles in different weight classes, believes Dubois will stay the champion because of what he has seen in him. He stated, "I don't know if he's the people's favorite, and I don't know if he's the bookie's favorite, and I don't gamble, but if I did right now and I had to pick one person to win this particular fight, I'm slightly leaning towards Dubois." The same goes for Maxie Hughes, who thinks Daniel Dubois can upset Anthony Joshua dramatically. Although Hughes, the former IBO champion, is adamant that he can win, Joshua represents a huge step up for Dubois. "I'm going with the unpopular decision of backing Dubois. I've seen a lot of the interviews of other heavyweights talking about sparring them both and saying how hard Dubois is," said Hughes when speaking to Seconds Out. "He's gaining experience and coming off a very good win against Hrgovic, so he'll be confident, and obviously Joshua will be confident coming off his win. I just feel like when Joshua does get hit, he can sometimes fall to pieces." Prince Nassim will be in attendance for this fight. Knowing the importance of this fight for UK's boxing scene and being one of the greats coming from this area of the world, Prince Nassim gave his prediction for the match.
Just that AJ Dubois prediction, Naz, who wins?
The AJ, you know what? I think AJ wins, to be honest, by KO.
Naz, thank you very much.
Ricky Hatton expects Anthony Joshua to become a 3-time heavyweight world champion later this month. He stated, "I can only see Anthony Joshua winning. A lot of people will turn around and say it's an obvious statement, and we can all say as Joshua lands a punch on your chin, then he'll knock you out, but because he's happy now, not like when he fought Usyk and didn't look in a good place mentally when he lost the fight. He's with Ben Davison and is a very good thinking coach, a good tactician, and in his last few fights, he's known for being a heavy puncher, but he's added more fluency to his movement and his combinations of what he is letting go." Fabio Wardley is confident AJ will prevail when he takes on Daniel Dubois. In the event that Joshua prevails, he will become the heavyweight champion 3 times, and Wardley, one of the most talented contenders in the division, is sure Joshua can win. "I think AJ wins, and I think AJ will stop him," said Wardley when speaking to Seconds Out. "When? Who knows, but I think he's big. He's strong. Not to say Daniel isn't at all, but I just think AJ's slightly sharper, been in the game a little bit longer, bit more used to the big stage. Having fought alongside Daniel Dubois and Anthony Joshua, Matty Harris has no trouble predicting the victor. It's a fascinating match, with AJ being the slight favorite over his domestic opponent because of his elite experience and devastating punching power. Furthermore, British fighter Harris, who has sparred with both, maintains that Joshua possesses the skills necessary to end the fight at close range. He cited Dubois' prior battles and said that Dubois lacked defensive ability. Matty said, "I think Joshua might have a little bit too much experience for Dubois," he told pro boxing fans. "Dubois isn't going to walk him down the way he walked Hrgovic down. I know Hrgovic can punch, but his shots, a lot of them were fast and he looked off balance." He further added, "Dubois will be a little bit more measured because he knows he can't get hit that clean off of Joshua, but if he's more measured, that kind of plays into Joshua's hands. Dubois, he's got an impressive gas tank. What heavyweight do you know that throws over 50 punches around? When he boxed Miller, he consistently threw over 50 punches over 10 rounds. It's a lot of punches from a big man." Finally, he made his prediction and backed Joshua to win by a KO. "I'm gonna just call it and say I think Joshua knocks him out. I don't think Dubois has got a good enough defense. He's pretty straightforward. I've made up my mind. I think Joshua knocks him spark out within 8 rounds. Carl Frampton claimed that this fight is going to be brutal because he believes that someone will get knocked out on the fight night. Given his greater experience over Dubois, AJ is the more popular and beloved candidate according to Frampton. However, he also stated that he won't be shocked if Dubois gets his hand risen in opposition to AJ.
Coming through the adversity that he came through in his last 2 fights probably gives him more of a chance. I think that certainly AJ's the favourite. They're heavyweights and Dubois is brave. And what I can guarantee is someone gets knocked out. And I think someone probably gets knocked out in the first 6 rounds, if I'm being honest. You have to favour AJ, but wouldn't surprise me if Dubois does it. Just they're big men, big athletic men.
Although Barry McGuigan wouldn't rule out Daniel, he insisted that Joshua would probably be too much for the 26-year-old. He feels that Daniel can knock out anyone, but Joshua is the clear favorite and a great boxer. He brought up Daniel's previous battle with Hrgovic, in which he struggled to hold his own against Hrgovic, but took advantage of the one chance he had and won. Daniel has the capacity to win, thus in his opinion, Joshua should give him a chance. He stated, "The thing about Dubois is that Dubois can punch so hard that it only takes a split second. Having said that, Joshua is the favorite, but you have got to give Dubois a chance with anybody. He was losing to Hrgovic, Hrgovic was beating him comprehensively, and then that cut happened and it was all over. But he has got a tremendous punch, and you have got to give him a chance with anybody. Again, I make Joshua the favorite. Joshua is the more complete fighter. He is better all round. He can box and fight, so I definitely think that Joshua will be too much for him. He, Dubois, has got a puncher's chance." Okolie went on to discuss 2 pivotal events in Dubois' career: his stoppage loss to Joe Joyce and his exciting yet unpredictable victory over Kevin Lerena. Dubois dropped 3 times in the opening round of the Lerena battle before finally winning. He took a knee in the Joyce fight after breaking an eye socket. He stated, "We've seen it happen a few times with Dan. In the Joe Joyce fight and the Kevin Lerena fight, there were moments where you could spot a weakness in his armor. Despite all his strength and power, if you stay consistent, I think you can get the job done. And AJ, out of all the heavyweights, is known for his consistency. That's why I'm leaning towards him." Alexander Usyk freely admits he doesn't like making predictions. However, the unified world heavyweight champion has gone away from usual habit of keeping his cards close to his chest to share his views on the upcoming showdown between Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois. Usyk explained to the Daily Mail in a recent interview why he is backing Joshua to get the job done and become a 3-time heavyweight champion. Usyk declared, "Joshua has improved a lot psychologically. Of course, I believe he will defeat Daniel Dubois. I I hate predictions, but it is an Olympic champion against a UK champion. Anthony is a different level. Amir Khan said that he is very excited for this fight. He thinks that people are underestimating Dubious, who could very much upset everyone on the fight night. Amir said, I'm going to the fight, and I don't want to miss it because it's a good fight, a good matchup, and is an evenly matched fight. Both are powerful, strong, and you would say Anthony Joshua has the most experience. A lot of people will be favoring him, but don't blink. Don't think Daniel Dubois doesn't have the skill, power, and speed to win that fight. Look, Dubois is a very dangerous fighter, and he has put on a great fight in his last couple of fights. I feel that he's got a chance of winning this fight. Anthony Joshua has looked good in his last few fights, but I feel that Dubois has a good chance because he wants to be where Joshua is. Amir further said, it's a really hard fight. It's who lands first. I think if Joshua lands with a good shot, he's got the attributes to finish Dubois. Both fighters have the power, speed, and everything to win the fight, but if Joshua boxes the way he won the last fight against Otto Wallin, which really impressed me, and it was punch perfect. That's what he needs to do. Stick to his boxing, sticks to his skills, hits and move, then I think that'll be the best Joshua and he can get the win that way. But if he gets into a brawl, this is where Dubois can start because he is a solid guy and hasn't been tested in that sense where he has been hurt. According to Adam Morelli, Dubois ought to be more resilient and powerful if he is able to raise his hands in the fight against AJ. He said that the youth could also play a huge role on the fight night.
And in order to win the fight, he's got to be around and alive and strong from round like 9, 10 onwards. And I think his superior youth may play its part at that point.
Tony Bello was less bullish about Dubois' prospects against Joshua, explaining why he believes Joshua will win in 2 rounds. He stated, Daniel must think I don't like him. I think he's a lovely kid and I think he's a vastly improved fighter. The only thing is that everything he's good at, Anthony Joshua is better. I'll be amazed if it gets to round 3. I'll be shocked if it gets past 3 rounds, but if it does go past 3, then Daniel's durability, endurance, and fitness will really test Joshua. Make no mistake, Anthony Joshua is a better athlete, a better boxer, all that. In every department, he's a little bit better. So what are your thoughts about this fight? Who do you think will come on top? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.